throwing away your old resin molds and to just reuse old dull molds. I'm just going to squirt a bit of that. We're going to shove it in there and just rub it all over to add a bit of character to your resin art with an old mold. Right, we are back with another resin art video, and we have hit 150,000 subscribers. Thank you to each and every one of you. You keep returning, you keep watching, you keep interacting with the content, so thank you all. Right, this one. Stop throwing away your old resin molds. You don't need to throw them away. I'm going to show you a really simple trick using baby lotion. You've seen me use this a lot of times on the channel. This one is really, really easy. If you're anything like me, you've probably got loads of these that have lost their shine. You can see this one here, or they've got scratches inside, or, you know, they just, after quite a few uses, they just become dull. So this is a genius way. I mean, I've got loads of these lying around. Yeah, this is a genius way to just add a little bit of character to your resin art and to just reuse old dull molds. Now you can do this with quite a few different styles of molds. I'm going to show you a really simple heart shape to begin with. What I'm going to do, just to make it a bit easier to see on the screen, there you go. With a white background, sometimes it's a little bit tricky to see what I'm doing. So literally all I'm going to do, this is the brand that I'm using. Other people have used different like hand creams and stuff like that. You've seen me use this for the swipe and wipe with using stencils. And if I put the design onto the coaster, just add a couple of small blobs maybe, and then just take my card. Let's see. Let's pour and hope. Let's clean up the coaster. But that just goes to show how cool with just some stencils and some baby lotion. You've seen we've drawn in using a needle tip bottle different designs into the resin. There's so many different things you can do with this stuff. It really is genius. So I'm just going to squirt a bit of that. Might as well do two. I might have put too much in that, I don't know. And we're just going to get our finger and we're going to shove it in there and just rub it all over. It really is. Guys, I said it's easy. It really is. And you can get some really decent details just from doing that. So this one here, for instance, I'm just going to keep that as it is. But with this one here, what I'm going to do is just even out as best I can. It's going to be very difficult, of course, to even this out perfectly. But even using your finger like this and pushing down and lifting it back up, you can get these almost like the lightning effects that we've done before. You can get really different details depending on how much lotion you put in. But for this video, we're going to create some ripples. I'm just going to spread that out as evenly as I can. And the more lotion you put in, the deeper the ripples will be. So the thinner amount, there'll be shallow ripples. Then just using a silicone tip tool, all I'm going to do is just draw in these lines into the lotion. You can't mess this up. You really can't. Just go over it if you want. You just want prominent lines going in one direction for this in particular. So for this video, I'm using the Let's Resin UV Clear Hard Type. Again, as always, all links and discount codes are in the description box below. You can do this with epoxy. Also, doesn't have to be UV resin, but with epoxy, you just have to be a little bit more patient. So all I'm going to do now is just top these up so they're flat with the mold. And then all you need to do is just check, because you can get these little bubbles that kind of stick to the lotion. Just work those out using a pick. Just bring them. Be careful not to disturb the lotion, because what will happen is you'll end up drawing that up through the resin. So just manipulate the odd bubble up to the top, and then we can pop those after. Then out comes the beast, and I'm just going to give that a full cure under my UV lamp. Okay, so I gave those a couple of minutes under the lamp. Now we can just take these out and give them a bit of a cleanup. Now what you can do with the leftover lotion, what you'll find is if you're using UV resin, the heat from the curing has kind of lowered the viscosity of the lotion. It's a lot more watery. What you can do is, if you have got the needle tip bottles, just squeeze the air out, put it in, and then begin to suck up the lotion that's left in there. Doesn't matter if you scratch the mold with the needle tip, because potentially you're going to be doing this again. It's an old mold anyway, so just suck it up as much as you can. And for these, just a bit of tissue will do, or a wipe, and just clean up the lotion on the front. And for the ripple one, we'll give that a clean up, and you'll see that crazy cool ripple effect on the surface. Just adds a bit of character to the resin. I'm not too sure on this one now, but we'll see what we get from it. It looks kind of organic in a way, I suppose, but the lined one, the ripple one, is really cool. So now we can just use our imagination and just finish these off in different ways. I mean, if you saw the previous video, I turned the birthday banner. We use this. I mean, you could do so much with this, but look at the way the colour is refracting through the piece. I don't know about the other one. Let's have a look. We can kind of finish these off. That actually looks really nice now. That's bouncing the colour around really nicely. Yeah, we can just finish off the backs however we want. So for my ripply resin piece, I'm just going to use some of the Let's Resin Intense Colour Shift Chameleon Flakes. And I'm going to go with, I think, a fuchsia. Now, because this is fully cured, the flakes, of course, aren't going to stick very well to the surface of the resin. So out comes the hairspray. Just going to take my hairspray and just give the back. I would say I was going to give it a blast, but my nozzle is playing up. That needs a bit of a cleanup. Should have checked first. I'm just going to cover the back. Just use my finger to rub it all over. And just wait for that to become tacky. It's normally only about 30 seconds, maybe, if that. And then just take the flakes and just begin to dab them on. If it's not tacky enough, I just go over it again with a hairspray. You can see it's not really showing up, but it is beginning to bond. But it might not look very covered, but when you flip it, you can see that colour really bouncing back through the piece. You don't have to go too crazy. I just gave mine a couple more sprays and a couple more dabs just to get it a bit more solid, because I really want this to pop. So all I need to do now is just back this. That's really colourful. Is just back this with a solid black. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and of course again to all our subscribers. So I'm just going to put some UV resin into this small cup and then grab my black mica powder. I've said this so many times on the channel, but there could be new members watching, and yeah, I need to explain it. So don't go too heavy with the black mica powder, because it will not cure, the resin will not cure, and that can be dangerous. You don't want to be wearing anything that contains uncured resin, or even selling or gifting anything that contains uncured resin. So you can do this in multi-layers to darken the back. So if you put the first layer on and it's not dark enough, just go over it again with a second layer of the black resin just to solidify it, and layer it until it's dark enough. Don't go too heavy, less is best. Out comes the mold again. I'm going to take our heart and just make sure it's as level as we can get it. Then just apply the black resin in thin layers and cure in between. So that's had 2 coats, and you can still see through the black, which is fine. You won't see that from the flip side, from the front. So that is just showing you that the black has cured all the way through, because you can see through it. So the light has been able to penetrate through, and there's no uncured resin inside there. It's perfectly fine. If you can't see through it, you might have an issue. Now with this one, I'm not sure, I'm not keen on it anyway, but I'm gonna just experiment. I'm gonna try out a holographic glitter that I got here from Jam Pot Glitter Co. And just see what this does. Look at that colour on the back. That is so sparkly. It's unreal. So I'm still not overly happy with it, but the more I look at it, the more I'm beginning to like it a bit more. Now, where I kind of scrubbed the lotion off the front, I have scratched and kind of dulled the piece down a little bit too much, but the way that's bouncing the colour around is phenomenal. So I'm going to just buff this one up a little bit with some cream cleaner, the pink stuff I use, and just try and give it a bit more. I know the idea of the video was to kind of turn a dull mold and other uses, but I've kind of ruined that where I've scrubbed it with the tissue paper. So I'm just going to buff that up a little bit more and just, hopefully I might like it a little bit more. And again, you've seen me use this stuff. It's very, very easy to get hold of. It's super cheap as well. It really is cheap. And this will get scratches out of your resin. Really, really easy. I think that would do. I could really buff this up a bit more, but I don't really want to because I don't want to start seeing the individual pieces of glitter. I prefer it kind of being like this, and the way it's bouncing the light around and refracting a little bit better. All I'm going to do now is just use the spring drill from Little Windows. Really good bit of kit, and always drill from the back. Find your center point and then just slowly begin to push down and drill. And then once you have your holes, just attach your pinch bows. You can get loads of different variations of kind of pinch bows. It's entirely up to you. This was from a mix set. So just pop that in and close it up. I mean, there you go. A really simple and easy way to add a bit of character to your resin art with an old mold. That's all you need. Play around with different patterns, drawing in the, you could maybe go the opposite direction as well, but they really pop, especially with something that bounces the light back through the piece. It doesn't really matter if it's, really, really shiny or not. And with the glitter one, I'm not too keen on the pattern, but what I am keen on is how the light is working inside this piece to give it a really like an opal style look. The way it's bouncing the light and refracting, and yeah, it really is stunning. And here's one that I made earlier. And this was just using a different coloured chameleon flake, not from that set. I can't remember where this one was from. But it really does look, it's incredible. And this is just a piece of wire work I did a very long time ago. It's not perfect, but there you go. As always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, hit that button for me. Play around with this and just see what you come up with. It really is super cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed that one. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.